Hey guys, we're on the road right now. We wanted to just stop in and say we haven't gone anywhere. Actually, we have a lot of recordings in the tank that we wanted to share with you, but we figured we'd just give everybody a break for the holidays and start releasing things in the new year. But we're still here, we're still making stuff. We've got a bunch of really cool conversations ready for you. We met with Don Hoffman again and got into some really unique territory. We've met with Nate Higgins. We've met with Thad Roberts from the Physics Monastery. We have, who else?
On New Year's Day, we have Michael Levin, which is, I feel like, almost a test of Dr. Levin checking to see if we're devoted enough to get up at 10 a.m. on New Year's Day. But
we're gonna meet up with George Howard's legendary friend, Malcolm Bendel, that's the word, with the very titillating fusion-powered future.
The thunderstorm generator.
There you go. So all that is coming on. We've been making preparations and tightening down our arrangements for the conference in Austin. And for those of you who have already bought tickets, we're really excited to meet you in person. It's gonna be a really small and close-knit, conversation circle, I think. We're gonna really have the chance to get to know one another and play with some of these ideas. We've got a number of faculty from different departments in UT Austin coming to present on a wide range of subjects, mostly surrounding the philosophy of science, but not entirely. And of course, Pierre-Marie, probably my favorite living scientist, is going to be doing the keynote address on Monday during the solar eclipse.
Probably before the solar eclipse. I think we'll be watching the solar eclipse.
Monday is the solar eclipse day. I'm like imagining the solar eclipse as a whole day's worth of experience, but I think it lasts 2 minutes where we're at. But yeah, Pierre's gonna be there, and it's always a joy to listen to Pierre talk, but he's going to, of course, be presenting some of his newest ideas about the liquid sun. So that's going to be freaking awesome. And really just the chance to hang out and,
Initially, when we planned the conference, we planned something that was going to be pretty big. I think we figured that we could get, a couple hundred people and everybody's going to come to Austin. But I think that what it's shaping up to be is actually something that's going to be a lot more interesting, which is a pretty intimate setting. I think we're going to top out around maybe 50 attendees. We have this production studio space that we've rented, and so we're going to have lots of rooms for breakout sessions for various topics that we get to explore. We have a big outdoor space for watching the eclipse. And
we've blocked off a wing of a hotel too, and people are beginning to fill that up, so it'll be a good chance to just meet other people that are into these topics and pal around at night. We might be able to arrange some dinners or something where we can all go out and hang out. I think it's just going to be a really continual science fest the whole 2 days. So I really hope to see you there.
It's DemystifySci 2024, April 7th and 8th in Austin, Texas. There's still lots of hotel rooms around. Tickets are only $200, which we've looked at comparable events, and they're like more than $1,000. And I think that we've really been very intentional about making sure that it's affordable for people. And there's tons of hotel rooms still available in town if you don't want to stay in the one that we blocked off. There's lots of Airbnbs. But I think it's going to be a thing that we do from here on out. Once a year, maybe once every 2 years, depending on how difficult it is to actually pull off, we're going to get together and make the podcast not just something that you sit around and listen to alone, but you actually get to meet people who are into the same stuff as you, which is kind of, I don't know, that's why I'm into doing this, is meeting people that like the same things that I do.
Yeah, so the cost of the conference is pretty small compared to getting yourself there, and we really hope that you can do that. If you can't though, we're gonna offer live streaming too, so you can get a really cheap ticket and tune in on the days of the event and listen to the talks and submit your questions. So that's an option, and hopefully we can get even more people to go to that so we can really ramp up the scale of conversation, because I think we're gonna have a lot of space to really do dialogue with these speakers, right? We'll have a good, we have a lot of bandwidth to do interaction and questions, especially with such a small group. So I think it's gonna be really special.
Oh, one of the things that we recorded while we've been away is we recorded with Brian Keating, and we recorded in his office in person for the first time, which was kind of incredible because we'd never recorded a live podcast before. We'd recorded with our friend Doug, but that's our friend, and it was kind of in our studio, and it wasn't really the same type of podcast that we normally do. It was like very casual.
Yeah, there's something about sitting across the table from somebody that was just really profound compared to what we usually do through Zoom. And we want to well, we're going to find a way to do more and more of that in the future. We really need to be across the table from people because it was so much easier to connect on a personal level with the guest in that case. And I feel like our friendship with Brian grew a lot. And although we're coming at the topic which we discussed, which was Big Bang cosmology, we're coming at it from very different angles. I think we're a bit more skeptical of the Big Bang narrative, but we were both really interested in examining the underlying facts and the history of the science there, and it was just a very friendly, deep conversation, and I think we can get there much quicker than we can over Zoom, the more of these in-person events that we can pull off.
And that's something that I'm really looking forward to for the new year, because I think that the conference is the first in-person event that we're doing with a big group of listeners, but we're really going to take this show on the road. We're going to do more live recordings. We're planning a big tour for our band, Secretary of Nature. And so it's going to be a season, hopefully a couple of seasons, of actually being out in the world and interacting with people instead of just everybody being locked away in their own little spaces.
Yeah, so speaking of Secretary of Nature, if you happen to live in any of those towns along the way, LA, let's see, where all are we going?
Phoenix, Tucson, Marfa, Texas, Austin, Joshua Tree, Albuquerque, Santa Fe.
If you're in any of those places, hit us up because we're planning shows out there and we want to play some music, rock your socks off. So it's going to be a pretty exciting year. I'm also giving a talk at APS. If anybody out there is a physicist and going to the Minneapolis APS this year, reach out. We're also going to try to both go out there and meet up with some of our favorite physicists from the show and maybe do some of those in-person recordings because that's where it's at. So that's happening in March. What else? We just finished up a draft of our book too, which is really exciting. We were steaming full to the finish line and we've started passing around the first couple of chapters with our patrons and we're really, really stoked. We're shopping for a publisher now, but hopefully this year that's going to come together. And we'll be really excited to go out and share some of the ideas that we've learned actually through doing this podcast. We've tried on a lot of our ideas concerning the material nature of atomics, which is what the book is about. And hopefully we'll be going around on other people's podcasts and sharing those ideas. But it turned out to be a really fun project. Half of the book is a historic retrospective of what happened. Why did physics turn into a purely mathematical discipline when it comes to atomic scale phenomena? When did that happen? How did it happen? And then the back half is our proposed solution to some of those issues, like what is charge? What is electromagnetism? What is light? What is gravity in terms of the materials that are involved? And not just in terms of equations. So it's going to be a really big year for us. We're really excited to have you guys along for the ride.
We're also curating a museum exhibit in New York and, if everything goes well, in Miami. And so it's about angels, aliens, and origins. And so more about that as it develops. But it's going to be a good year. So if you're in New York, tell us. We'll hopefully play a show out there too. I think that about covers it. Let's enjoy the sunset.
All right, guys. We'll see you with more conversations very, very soon. Have a wonderful New Year's. Not too wonderful that you fall off of a balcony or anything, but enjoy, and we'll see you in the new year.